The WOWGO 2X Max is said to be one of the best electric skateboards under $500, and we're gonna see if that still holds true today. The deck is made out of 8 layers of Canadian maple and also bamboo and fiberglass. So that makes the deck quite a bit harder than other decks in this form factor, but still retains some flexibility. The first thing that I noticed about this deck is that it is a little bit on the skinny side, and it doesn't follow what everybody else is doing with these styles of decks, which is straight up copying booster board. This one is a little bit different, so I'm glad that they're doing it their own style, and by keeping the deck a little bit thinner, it also reduces some weight, so that's another plus on this side. The deck also has a U-shaped concave that really helps when you're turning and carving, and the concave is quite comfortable in my opinion. So for example, my shoe size is 11, so if your feet are a little bit smaller than those, you might feel a little bit more comfortable on them. But for me, my toes and my heels are extending outside of the deck, so just keep that in mind if that's the thing that you really care about. On the bottom side of the deck, the graphics looks very professionally made and clean, and this is not really surprising to me because I have ridden 1 or 2 WOWGO boards before and their build quality has always been online. Like, this board is surprisingly solid. So on the top of the deck is shock absorbing grip tape. It is a little bit thicker than regular grip tape, but they do help a little bit in reducing the road vibrations. And combined with the flexible deck, it reduces road vibrations even more because I'm not a big fan of my foot getting numb after I go out and ride. The WOWGO 2X Max uses a split enclosure design. That's because the deck is flexible, so they have to keep the center empty, so when the deck flexes, nothing is getting deformed in the center. But in my opinion, these rounded enclosures have started to grow on me a little bit, so it's really a personal preference. But in terms of the build quality and how this board looks, WOWGO has done a fantastic job, and just for $500, yeah, this is a really great deal. The WOWGO 2X Max uses a 12S2P battery configuration. I know it doesn't sound much, but combined with their 2 550-watt hub motors, the range is actually higher than I expected. So the range that we got was 18 kilometers, which for a 5 amp hour battery is surprisingly high for me. Because I weigh like 80 kilograms, so boards under my feet are going to have a lower range. And also the ride style and like hill climbing, everything like that does affect your range quite a bit. So the WOWGO 2X Max uses an 8-inch RKP 50-degree. These trucks look surprisingly high quality, and they've done a surface finish that I have never seen before. At least I don't think so. It is a little bit grainy and it's kind of like a matte finish, so it grips your hand really well. And I really like the design of these trucks. I haven't seen it before, so this is something new to me, and I like new things, and that's why it looks really cool to me. So the WOWGO 2X Max is a pair of 550-watt hub motors. You can get them either in 90mm sleeving or 105mm sleeving, and we got the 105mm ones. So there is a choice if you want a bigger or a smaller wheel, which I think is a great option. And with the 105mm wheels, they look kind of like cloud wheels, but they're not cloud wheels, and they have a slightly bigger contact patch from what I can see. This is the first board that I'm like, ow! Oh my goodness, this is like really smooth. I can press the throttle all the way to the end and it's still smooth. It's not like jittery. One of the most jittery boards that I can remember is probably the Meeple Voyager. If you just press the remote slightly, it kind of like jerks you around a little bit. But with the WOWGO 2X Max, smooth. So combined with the shock absorbing grip tape, the shock absorbing deck, the hub motors, this makes the board feel extremely smooth like butter. The WOWGO 2X Max is using a Hobbywing ESC. So the WOWGO's remote is closer to what X-Way's remote looks like, but they have a different interface. So the remote is a lot smaller than the generic Hobbywing ESC remote. It is quite a bit smaller, and so like any other Hobbywing remote, it has a different speed mode. It has speed mode 1, 2, 3, and turbo. So the remote does USB-C charging. I'm glad to see the industry moving to USB-C instead of the micro USB because I don't have any more micro USB cables. So I'm glad to see they're using USB-C. Very good. It has all your necessary information like your speed, your odometer, and also your battery levels for both the board and the remote. To fit all of that information onto a tiny screen, like, it was done very smart. So good job WOWGO, and keep up with your smart design. So the WOWGO 2X Max comes with a 2 amp charger. It is going to take 2.5 hours to 3 hours to charge your board from flat to full. And this charger is not that big, so you can stick it in your bag with no big problem. And it doesn't weigh a ton, which means you can carry it quite easily. Keep in mind to plug your board in whenever you can so you don't get stranded. Although it is a hub motor, which means when you run out of battery, you can still push the board like a regular board, albeit quite a heavy one, but you still can push it much better than belt drives or like gear drives. The WOWGO 2X Max, I think, is a fantastic deal for beginners. Here at Skate, we've been spoiled. Now we got a board that's under $500. Actually quite surprising to us what the industry has done. I wish I had these offerings when I started, because back then I was a broke high school student, so I had to save up some money. Then the only board available at the time was Boosted Board. That costed like $1,200, and there's no way in God's green earth I'm gonna be able to afford that. So what I had to do was start it on my non-ending journey of DIYing a skateboard, an electric skateboard. And let me just tell you the story of my first electric skateboard. It is a longboard deck that I got from Walmart with caliber 2 truck and a cheap $50 belt-driven kit on AliExpress. 2 3S 5 amp hour LiPo batteries connected in theories. You want to know the most important part in the story? You want to know what kind of ESC did I use? Did I use a RC car ESC like a normal person? Did I get a E-Skate ESC like another normal person? Or did I use a airplane ESC that doesn't have brakes? Of course the answer is gonna be the last one. I used the airplane ESC without brakes, and it almost killed me. And I didn't know it didn't have brakes. Outside of my house, it's a big hill, and I thought I was gonna have brakes, but I didn't. So yeah, that was an experience. If it's gonna be your first electric skateboard, let it be the WOWGO 2X Max. It's a great deal, honestly. I wish I had this kind of offering. So if you're a beginner and you don't have a lot of money, you should probably look into the WOWGO 2X Max. It is going to be a fantastic board to ride around your community and all that. I hope you like this review. This board is for beginners, so I tried to not talk too technically about it. If you want to get the WOWGO 2X Max, I'll have my affiliate link in the description and a discount code if they give me one. Make sure to go check it out, and we'll see you next time.